So right when we start, we get the same quality that we get from Never Looking Back, this sort of amorphous, sort of indescribable feeling of confusion. There's a little bit of this like feeling of unease and being on edge. It's a little bit mysterious, a little bit sort of in the distance. And I find that interesting that we start with this theme, the Phantom Liberty theme. This is essentially, I believe it's like the main theme. And then we sort of end cap it with this similar introduction when we listen to Never Looking Back, which is near the end of Phantom Liberty. And so it's really cool.
Found out treasures are always lost.
David here sings so beautifully in the way that the vocalism is used. Found out treasures are always low. There's almost like a dipping into pitch, dipping into the tonal center, which is incredibly evocative because it's very raw. Found out. It's very, very visceral in its beauty, which is very interesting. You don't often hear that. Usually when it's visceral, it's found out. Like it's much more violent and much more aggressive in the way that the tonal center is approached.
Pleasures and rage come back. I'm watching you.
Love that echo on you.
Be careful with your moves.
See how that's so, be careful with your moves. That's so on the mic. Almost like you're going to miss the pitch. Singing requires a certain degree of support. We need breath support. Be careful with your moves. But even that's a little bit too much. This is actually from the throat in a lot of ways. Be careful with your moves. But so evocative. That's gorgeous. And also the instrumentation pulls all the way back and we're left just the a cappella. And listen to that. That's a warning. Be careful with your moves. That is a warning. And that's why we pull all the way back with instrumentation there.
Tonight,
Repeating a same melody, different verse though.
I think the time is right.
You hear there's a lot of Slippy Slidey stuff in here, which is incredibly effective, I think, especially in this particular piece. This really does sound like a James Bond opening. Tonight, I think the time is right. Very slip slidey. I would call it dirty. It's not tonight. I think the time is right. You hear each individual note as I'm sort of ascending and descending, but this is not that. It's much more sloppy, which is really effective at causing just a feeling of humanity, I think.
I think the blood is dry.
Ooh. Isn't that funny? Dry. That's really effective because it could have easily been, I think the blood has dried. Instead, they didn't do that. They went, dried, which gives it a little bit more emphasis. The blood has dried. We got into a conflict. We bled. And now the blood has dried. You know?
Cries for more.
Reminds me of Radiohead in some ways.
So what are we waiting for?
That too. So what are we waiting for? It's so airy, so breathy. You hear a bit of the imperfection in David's voice where there's a quality there of just complete rawness, complete nakedness. It's really effective.
Wires and chains.
Nice harmony.
Starting to fade. It feels like a game you have to play.
That's such a nice harmony, and clearly he's a tenor. That's so effective, and it's so raw. I mentioned that earlier, but when we ascend up like that, let's re-listen to that.
It's like a game.
That's so visceral. It's so raw, and the fact that the line says, wires and chains starting to fade feels like a game. game you have to play, there's a frustration with the fact that this is a game that has to be played. And when we ascend up like that, it, I think, highlights that frustration in a really, really awesome way. It makes you feel like you're sort of on a tightrope and you're running out of options. And the harmony there elicits exhaustion, especially because we go up. Because you didn't have to have that harmony. The harmony there adds a layer of, I wouldn't even call it tension, but a layer of angst that's really effective.
You have to play.
Also love it. I'm just tired of looking the other way. Even that, you hear how there's this raw quality in it, and also where it's set in pitch. Oh, drums, okay.
Lights out.
We're keeping this harmony in here. Huh.
Is this who you really are?
I like the percussion a lot. I like the drum set here because it gives a feeling of like, well, I gotta pick myself back up, you know? Bum, 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 bum. Fine, I'll get up. I'll do it. You know what I mean? There's that sort of like, pick your boots up and just go.
Can't look into your eyes. Your twisted mind.
I like too how the orchestration, the orchestra, the violins that are now in, they're doubling in some aspects. There's a little bit of harmony there, but in general, there's a doubling quality, which I think is adding to that emphasis. I talk about this a lot in my videos about when we add doubling in strings to, let's say, a vocalist who has a solo, there's an inherent feeling of a raised stakes that comes across. And in this particular case, it really adds to this like heavy layer of sadness. So it doesn't bolster at all. In fact, it feels very pained.
It's dark, so dark. We ended
Love that.
now. It ends right here, right now.
As we descend in the vocal line, the strings actually ascend up, which is causing an inherent feeling of tension because we have the separation of ideas. On the one end, we have the strings ascending up, and on the other end, we have the vocals ascending down. And that's going to cause this feeling of ripping and separating.
Please tell me you brought the iron. Slide up the sky.
It's fun. Now we're adding horn, and it's interesting because the lyrics say, "Please tell me you brought the iron," and then it says, "I'll light up this. Let's light up the sky and fade into the night." Like we have a job to do. There's the horn proclaiming the job. Usually we hear a trumpet. There's often a very proclamatory thing, unless you think of like the Godfather theme, which is much more personal, but it's highlighting the opportunity for work in that moment.
Wires and chains starting to fade. It feels like a game you have to the days where it was good are gone. I'm trying to see what it was for, but I'll never know.
I really like this. This is so fucking gorgeous. And something that's really cool here is this is common in sort of like pop writing where we'll have this repeated pattern of the main chorus, which is wires and chains starting to fade. Right. But then we always get this slight little section. In this particular case, it's the days when it was good or gone. I'm trying to see what it was for, but I'll never know. And though it's dead, I hear the call. I think that this is actually the crux of the piece. The days when it was good or gone, I'm trying to see what it was for, but I'll never know. And though it's dead, I hear the call. I cannot run away from what I have to do, and I can't run away despite the fact that in my soul I feel this pain. And that's really what comes across here, is that as we ascend into this like chorus section, we're not losing the strength of that full orchestration. We've had this bit of a build-up, sort of gone like this, and now we're at this real peak here where we are rising up into the inherent trials and tribulations that have to occur because that's what our job is. We can't run away. And that's very tender here and frustrating. And yeah, wow, what a gorgeous song. There too, we're feeling that forward propulsion, and also the chanting in the background, this whispering is actually bolstering and moving this feeling of like, oh my god, I really wish I didn't have to do this. Then I also love this propulsion,
Wires and chains starting to fade.
Also, I want to talk about just the actual vocal technique on display here, which is really great. It's coming from the throat, and it's satisfying because wires and chains. There's no vibrato. In fact, I have a hard time because of my training in opera. I have a hard time not adding vibrato. This is very raw. With open vowels, we feel a sense of rawness, I think, and also the fact that there's no vibrato whatsoever. Wires and chains. It almost feels like it's leaning on the vocal folds, which is really, instead of going wires and chains, which is not bad, but it feels a little artificial. It feels a little bit like put on. So when we have this wires and chains, that's a little bit leany on the vocal cords, which makes it more effective, I think.
Feels like you get
that sustaining aspect right here. Ooh, the bridge into the final verse.
I found out treasures are always lost, pleasures are long forgotten. Who are you now?
Holy shit, you guys, that ending is gorgeous. We pull all the way back on the instrumentation that's been kind of guiding us up until this point. Essentially, we fade stunningly. Who are you now? It's very, very, very spoken, very parlando here. Maybe like listen to this.
Treasures are always lost.
We really lose. Now it's just sustained ambient.
Are long forgotten. Who are you now?
Now it really dies away. Now it doesn't go, who are you now? It goes, who are you now? like it dies, like it gets cut, the wire gets snapped. That is so effective. My God, what a haunting piece. That is gorgeous. That is absolutely beautiful. If you like this, there's more cyberpunk on the channel if you want to check it out, and also other games that you might like. Feel free to check that out. I stream basically every day. Feel free to come check that out on Twitch, or I also multi-stream on YouTube now as well. Feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.